Welcome to the Panda Cast. I'm David Mashumaro.
And I'm Alan, SamuraiPanda and so this is going to be a special edition of the podcast. We're not really going to talk much about modern topics. We're going to actually go a little bit about our past. How did we meet? What is Panda? And kind of how we formed it. And we'll probably make more segments on the line, like stories of growing pains with Panda and how we got to where we are. But you said you had something to start with, right?
Yeah, I had a joke. It had to revolve around T. But if T was a number, what number would it be?
I don't think I want to know this.
You don't really want to know it. 32, because then it'd be teeth.
What?
Because the ending of numbers is like second, first, third, 10th. So it's T, TH for the ending. So if T was a number and you replace it as a variable, then you would use TH at the end. It's a math joke, kind of, but also biology mixed.
I'm very confused.
So instead of T, it's teeth.
This is what you do.
And there's 32 of them.
This is what you do when you're not working, is create... That is so incredibly hard to understand. Wow, okay, so...
backstory time.
Yeah. Please, if you do enjoy this, subscribe, like, and leave us comments. We do read the comments, and this segment was born from a comment, too. And also, please leave a comment if you got his joke, or if you think, like me, it was too difficult to understand. Let's go with that.
Yo,
I took my
comedy takes time to refine, my friend.
Yes, so he's going to refine his comedy on you, our audience. But story time. Did you want to start or should I start?
I'll go with the present, you go into the past.
Sure.
So presently, we both got invited to the VIP section of the Smash Switch E3 reveal. With the Invitational Tournament, invited by Nintendo.
Yeah.
Huge honor, really happy about it.
Honestly.
Smash has been a huge part of my life, and I've been to E3 before, never been, involved with Smash. Never been to E3 before.
Yeah.
Never been involved with Smash there.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be super cool, and I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And I think Infiltration's joining us there, ESAM, MVD, Alpha Rad, and a couple of the other Panda crew. So
yeah, Bear, I think there's someone else.
It's okay.
Forgetting. Yeah.
We got a lot of people in there, and we're showing up, and we're going to show our support for both Splatoon, because that's a cool game.
It is. And we had a team for a little while.
Yep. And then the Invitational, because Plup's playing in it.
Of course. I'm going to cheer my head off in the VIP section where no one can hear me.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's presently what's going on.
Yeah.
And now to the past.
So, yeah, thank you for the flashback there. I guess to briefly say my background leading up to... Let's lead up to the point that we sort of met.
You can start before with Show Me Your News.
Well, we met before Show Me Your News.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you very sure?
Oh, yeah.
How sure are you?
So... A little bit about, I guess, my history in gaming. I've been a huge gamer my whole life, and the main reason why was I grew up in a neighborhood with only one other family near me. There's no one to play with except those kids, and they moved out when I was young. I bounced around schools because I was a dick, and...
Still are. Was.
Yeah, well, puberty hit, and then I just went full nerd. But I didn't have anyone to play with except my brother. And 2 years older than me, and so my parents found that when they went to the shopping mall, they could drop us off at the arcade, and we'd stay there all day. And obviously, when there's 2 players in the arcade back in the early '90s, there's only one thing to do, and that's play arcade games. So I grew up playing a ton of arcade games, and that means Street Fighter, TMNT, Turtles Through Time, Simpsons game, X-Men, that big arcade cabinet, the X-Men. And then, of course, our favorite games when we were growing up were things like Children of the Atom, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel's Capcom 1, Marvel's Capcom 2, played a huge role in my childhood. Our first console, so when consoles sort of became a thing, was actually a Windows 3.1 machine, and my dad got us a hard disk, which, for you youngins, was actually very floppy, of Street Fighter 2. And Mega Man, I don't remember, like 2 or 3 or something like that. And those were my only games growing up. And then after that, we got the Sega. And then after the Sega came the Nintendo 64. So I grew up with traditional fighting games. Capcom vs. K2 was also really huge to us, and Marvel 2 was our big go-to. Me and my brother growing up, and we would just constantly be at these arcades playing together. Then when Nintendo 64 came out, and then they made Smash. And Smash was the first time I had ever... And then I also sort of found a more stable group of friends. It was the first time I'd ever had people to play a fighting game with. Because Smash is a platform fighting game. It is a fighting game. Just different from a traditional fighter.
Yeah, and I still don't like the fact that people are talking about how Mario Tennis is a fighting game.
No,
that's clickbait.
That's funny. It is clickbait. It's clickbait, but it's funny. And I can see the theory, but
I can see the theory, but like that's just saying like League is a fighting game. It's like a rectangle rhombus.
Yeah, ARAM's fighting game, or like whatever 1-on-1 mid. It's a fighting game.
No, it's a 5-on-5 fighting game.
Make that. Yeah,
because there's spacing. There's footsies. There are footsies.
Technically, I guess you can argue that.
Like Lee Sin has a lot of footsie.
Yes, 1 foot.
Anyway, continue.
So and then so Smash 64 played a pretty big role in my life as well, because that was our first home fighting game. Dreamcast came out. I had Marvel's Capcom, stuff like that, and then the wonderful experience of Melee happened, and Melee was where not only my group of friends, my brother's group of friends, we had a huge group of guys. We all had GameCubes. We bought Melee. And we spent like 48 hours unlocking every character on everyone's GameCube, and we just played and played and played. And we went to school, and we played and we played, and then we went home, we played. My group of friends in high school became defined by actually CSGO and Melee. And that really, to me, kind of helped me find my first group, find my place, and went to college. And of course in college the biggest thing was Smash. You could go to anyone's room and they would have Smash, or a couple people in the hall would have Smash. So I played it throughout my first year in college and my second year. And this is the story of how Dave and I met. My second year of college, my sophomore year of college, and his sophomore year as well, I was in my brand new dorm room. I moved dorms. And I had invited one of my high school friends over, who's in college with me, to play Smash Melee. And he's like, "Oh, we used to play 4-player free-for-all a lot." And he was like, "Oh, let me invite my buddy." So he invites his friend, who I never met before. And then we're playing as 3 of us, and our other friend couldn't make it. So we're like, "Oh, it's kind of awkward. We need a 4th." And then all of a sudden, his friend, who was a very loud and boisterous guy, yells out, "Woo!" And we're like, "What?" And
I was summoned.
And yes,
just like they collected the 7 Dragon Balls, I came from the sky, thunder shook the earth, and I was summoned. And I granted their wish, which was a 4th player. Yes. And I played Mewtwo, and I kicked their ass.
He sat in the corner. He won. But I won. He walked by my room, and Danny, that's the guy's name, knew David.
Through basketball, actually. We played on the same IM team. We played some of the same tennis stuff. We played volleyball as well. A lot of sports. Yeah, we met because we won a lot of championships in IM Rec, and he wasn't in my dorm hall. He was one floor up and to the left, and so he was on the other side. We were in the all boys. He was in the co-ed.
Yeah.
But we played. We ended up teaming up a lot because my first year was pretty much all varsity players, like varsity sports players. So all we do is play sports and occasionally ran outside shirtless, playing guitars to the Rocky theme and doing push-ups in places.
Fun.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was really crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pictures of me like shirtless in the snow. And apparently it wasn't just our hall. The year before, the same people who lived in our dorm also did the same thing. So it was not even. It was uncoincidental, or it was unintended coincidence. And we actually ran into them shirtless in the snow. We're like, "Why are you shirtless?" Like, because we did a second Elliot. We're like, "Oh, we're in second Elliot. Why did we not heard about this before?" And yeah, legends were born that way.
Well, the legends led to us meeting.
Yes.
And it's been 11, 12 years since then.
It's been forever.
It's been a long time. We're old. But Melee is what brought us together in the beginning. And I don't know if you want to go into a little bit of your background leading up to our meeting.
I guess story time in terms of video games. First time I really played was when I went to China. I didn't speak the language. My grandparents just dropped me off in an arcade because what do you do with a kid who doesn't speak English and they don't speak English, I don't speak Chinese. There's no crossover, right? So they just dropped me there. At the time, King of Fighters was the most popular game, but I played Darkstalkers first because there was cute anime girls, and since then I've always been into waifus.
This is about video games. Not
no, it's okay. It plays in. There's a lot of waifus.
This is why David's souvenir from DreamHack was this.
My other souvenir was third place at Guilty Gear. So
you don't even know which way the medal goes. You earned that.
100%. I gotta. That's a loss I gotta hold on to for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm no longer undefeated at Guilty Gear in the tournament anymore.
Yep.
Anyway, I played with a lot of really, disastrous players in the arcade, if you will. Like, they're always smoking, skipping school, and whatnot. But I found out that I can communicate with people through fighting games, and that was a huge discovery to me, that I could learn what people were thinking and learn about them without actually speaking with them. And that's something I've carried with me my entire life, especially in sports, because when am I ever going to interact with my opponent? I'm never going to talk to him or get to know him. I got to see his actions and take, the notice of that. After that, I played sports for the most part throughout my life. When I got injured, because I had nerdy friends, because, I got thrown into the Asian group, I would play different PC games, so...
You're not going to tell them how I got injured? I love the story.
The last time I got injured was because I watched Prince of Tennis, and I tried to replicate things that happened in the anime, and I messed up my knee and pretty much ended my tennis career because of it. I tried to come back from it, but Warcraft 3 was too strong of a game. Dota was too strong of a game.
Yeah. And you were Korean War Machine and...
Sea Slug? Korean War Machine.
Yeah. Those are tags. You were, what, in the ranked top 3 or something in US, was it, servers? Or US East?
US East, I was rank 1 for a lot of the time. Because the K was so strong. So, like, back then it was dial-up, right? So I had to play when no one was using the phone. So that was usually like 2 to 5 a.m. So in doing that, I would play and I would do whatever. And then one time I went on vacation with my parents to go skiing for a weekend, and I decayed from 1 to like 2,000.
Wow.
Over the course of that time, like, because back then it wasn't like rankings; it was like what level were you, right? And the higher level you were, the higher ranked you were. And I decayed from level 45 to essentially 30 over a weekend because I didn't play, which really peeved me, so I stopped really trying. So I started leveling up accounts, not leveling up because there weren't really levels. I started gaining wins to get icons, and then turning those over. Yeah.
Makes sense.
On eBay.
Makes sense. A young entrepreneur.
Yes, I had to try. But yeah, I definitely kicked a lot of ass. Took a lot of names, and then discovered the greatness that is Smash Brawl, actually.
Well, yeah, I guess that then came later. So we met, and we, I guess you could tell, became friends after a little while. And that was, I think that summer was the first time that Brawl was coming out, so I was really into Smash at the time. And I'm going to go a little bit into sort of my history in Smash. I could read and write Japanese, and I was reading these things by Sakurai. He was doing these weekly blogs where he would respond to one email a week of a fan, or was it a month? I don't even remember anymore. I was reading these emails, and they were nice, like little tidbits. It was nothing important until one week he just straight up said in Japanese, he was like, "Not all characters from Melee are returning to Brawl," and I was like, "Oh wow, that's actually a huge deal." So I went on to what was the best forum I knew, which is GameFAQs, and I posted that. I was like, "This is what it says," and everyone's like, "You're lying, you're BS. No one believes you. Get out of here, troll." Before people called others trolls, and one guy said, "Hey man, you might want to try Smashboards. People will be more receptive over there. So I said, well, what's Smashboards? And sort of the rest's history. I made a thread there where I started updating weekly. People wanted to see every word, and I had to do these extremely literal translations because people would pick apart every single thing I said. And I started realizing, man, these guys are really into Smash, but it's so cool. Like I'm sort of like an intellectual guy. I like the theory and thought process behind things. So I got really into it. I eventually, they gave me moderator status, and as Brawl was coming out, we got the hype ball rolling, and then some guy started a podcast called Show Me News, and we thought it was pretty cool, or I thought it was pretty cool, and I asked David. So I reached out to the guy, like, hey man, like, I would love to do a podcast with you. And he was like, oh, that'd be cool. And then we found out, oh, hey, he goes to our college. And we're like, oh, that's a awesome coincidence. And then we're like, there was a Melee weekly at our college. And he was like, let's meet up there. And I was like, hey, like, I was nervous meeting a guy off the internet. That comes out weird. And I asked David, hey, David, do you want to go to a local with me? Oh my god, I think I played Anther at that local. I played Anther with Ganondorf with his Pikachu and Melee. That was not fun. He destroyed me. And
I did okay, though.
Yeah, you did okay, actually. You did a lot better than I did.
I did a lot better.
Yeah, Peach has down smash. So, that's what he played, was Peach.
Yeah, waifu.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And his name is Yoko. And he actually taped on the back of a t-shirt his internet tag, so I would recognize him.
I remember that. And the thing is, keep in mind, he says he told me about and talked to me about this podcast. I actually didn't realize he was doing the podcast until he asked me to go meet this guy in real life. I'm like, you do a podcast? And
well, I think I was a guest before that point, and I had just got talking about it in college.
Okay, I had no idea, so yeah, I just showed up to play Melee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Show Me Your News became a thing. And Show Me Your News was the podcast a lot of people knew me from, where we would talk about they would do these weekly releases of like a couple items sort of thing, and we just theorize about Brawl and talk about it and just chat. So it was a lot of fun, and still have a lot of people that say, hey man, I used to listen to you every week. It was the highlight of my week, and it means a lot to me. And then so when Brawl came out, I sort of made it my thing. David joined me too. We became competitive players, ranked in Michigan.
I don't know if he remembers that, but like at one point in time, he said when Brawl was coming out, "Hey, do you want to share an apartment with me? Because I want to go pro in this game, and I would like if you do it too." And at the time, I was ready to actually graduate college. I don't know if you knew that, but I was like, I might as well just take some garbage classes or things that I wouldn't normally take, spend an extra year, and ended up spending an extra 2. So.
Yeah, and that was some of the best times of my life. Traveling across the country, playing, training, my first competitive title. The Michigan FGC wasn't much to speak about.
Midwest was not.
Yeah,
non-existent.
In general.
Yeah.
Chicago had an okay scene for fighting games, but not much. So Smash is all I could play competitively. And I didn't mind. I loved it, but Brawl had its problems. That said,
it's still one of the funnest games I've ever played. I think a lot of it's nostalgia, but like
I think a lot of it's nostalgia.
Like obviously I've complained a lot about it, and I think it's I started out with Zelda, and that was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of hate for the fact that I thought Zelda was a bad character, and I was one of the best mains at it. But Meta Knight made it fun, actually.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Meta Knight Dittos so much. That was the only reason I played the game, was for Meta Knight Dittos.
Yeah. Meta Knight transformed the game completely.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, and there was some great times. Some people will remember the money back chant. I was there. I helped save Clash of the Titans 4 as one of my crowning achievements. And what was nice also was near the end of my time, I would do some commentary, and I was actually fairly well known for my commentary at the time, and people kept telling me I had this like ESPN style commentary. In fact, one of the biggest things, and again, I have a lot of people telling me to this day it was one of the best tournament experiences they ever had, was Clash of Titans 4. And should I get a little bit into that, just as a fun side story? Or
yeah,
later?
You can go into that. I just think to hit on your commentary stuff, this is before YouTube existed.
Yeah.
So like we didn't upload VODs, we didn't stream anything. This was FM radio. They were like, they were straight up recording this live, and people were tuning in to listen to their voices describe what was going on without seeing anything.
Yeah.
This was the old school, like...
That was Clash of the Titans 4, because they couldn't get a video feed going for a stream. Because there were streams, but they were like really crappy streams, and YouTube was like the quality on YouTube was so bad at the time. 240p
was like godlike, actually.
Yeah, honestly, it was awful. The tournament kind of went under for a lot of things, and I'll skip the story, but I looked at Chiba, who ran the tournament, and I said, hey man, can you get like an audio only stream going? He's like, yeah, I could. So I did solo commentary, like I'm talking radio baseball style, of like what's going on, Ally versus Mewtwo King, Grand Finals, Snake versus Meta Knight, hit like the F tilt goes out, 23%, 48%. It was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of requests to do it again, but I was like, no one's gonna choose to listen to a stream when they have the option of video. But it was some good times. And one of the best compliments was when I came back to the scene with PG. A lot of the commentators, the modern commentators, told me that I was one of their inspirations behind starting. In fact, you could find at the original Apex where we were at, we drove 14 hours to get there. There was a 5-man commentary. It was me, DM Brandon, EE, I think there was TK and one other person, and I'm sorry, I can't recall right now. You can find that VOD on the internet somewhere, but that was a real thing that existed. That was a lot of fun. And then I went to medical school, and I tried for the first couple of months, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do Smash and medical school. It was just too much. So I retired from Smash. Played League of Legends when it first came out. Ended up getting top 40 in the ladder of League of Legends Season 1. Got wasted after an exam and tanked it and trolled from there. And those were good times. We were playing like Big Fat, GG at the time. Hot Shot.
Hot Shot. Reginald was in our games. Yeah, Andy did. Yeah. Everybody who you think is like one of those old guys who own teams right now. Yeah. We played with. Some of the kids who are good now. We thought were trash back then. It was so bad.
What was the Korean guy's name? He used to play Tristana with us, and he's huge now.
Oh, Loco Doco.
No, Loco Doco. Oh my god, he plays Pantheon, right? Now?
He's not huge anymore. He's in the army. He's gone.
Yeah,
MacNoon. Dude.
Yeah, MacNoon. MacNoon used to play with us I used to play MacNoon all the time.
No, it was really funny because up until Season 4, we had played with every single person who had won a championship.
Yeah.
So no, it's like Dyrus was there. I hated him.
Yeah,
I still
he was the jungler, right? That became the commentator. No,
Dyrus is the guy at top lane.
Jat.
Jat was
a lot with Jat.
We played with Jat a lot. Elements.
Elements.
I played with Kobe24. Like actually most of the commentators we played with that commentated.
I actually had Trinimir on my friend list for a while.
Dude, I have on my Smurf account that I use, that is probably the most valuable League of Legends account in the world because of the friends list alone. It's 300 of the most influential people in esports.
Wow.
So
if they still have you.
No, it's there. Yeah, no one's gonna get rid of that one. It's too funny of a name.
Fair. What was it? Something Annie?
No.
Oh, okay. No. Okay. Fair. So that was, I guess, the brief summary of kind of the history leading up before PG was a thing. Did you want to mention anything from that time?
Pre-PG or back then?
Yeah, like between the PG and that.
Well, there was League of Fighters.
Yeah,
so
about that.
We made a fighting. Well, on my birthday, I decided that my life was shit. So I was like, I'm gonna do something this year, and I decided that I was gonna learn programming and make my own video game. We had talked a lot in college about making our own game, and so he seemed like he needed something to do. He needed a project. So I was like, you know what? Let's go make a fighting game. But since we both play League, let's make a League of Legends fighting game.
Yeah.
And so we did.
We did.
Still working on it.
Yeah.
Still slowly working on it.
Yeah.
I think about working on it sometimes, but it's just like PG's so time-consuming.
Yeah. And PG derailed it, unfortunately. And it got really far. So if you Google League of Fighters, our launch trailer had 1 million views. We had some of the best pros at the time play it. Chris G, Justin Wong.
Flo played it. Flo was so good at breaking down that game.
Yeah, I think Chris G was probably the best at our game.
Chris G won, but Flo was... if Flow stayed, he probably would have won that tournament. He was so good at understanding new fighting games.
Yeah, he really was.
Yeah, guy's a genius. Just doesn't.
Flow.
Yeah, just flow.
Yeah. And I think our fighting was actually pretty good for what we had to work with, and
it's a fun game.
Yeah, and Rising Thunder actually ended up using a lot of the concepts, the core concepts that we use as our gameplay, which is specials on cooldowns, obviously from League of Legends, and sort of the gimmicks that we had, and a lot of people actually played Rising Thunder and actually straight up hit us up and like, did you guys work on this? Like, and don't get us wrong, we're not upset by any means. I think I
was really proud that Seth Killian took
we're
that.
Flattered.
Yeah, I felt like finally like our thoughts on what fighting games should be like was like,
justified.
Yeah, it was like we had that. Yeah, they said like, they want to do it too, and it did well.
Yeah, and they immediately got bought by Riot.
Yeah, they immediately got bought by Riot, which
by the way is because Riot actually had a copy of League of Fighters, way before Rising Thunder.
Everyone played that.
Yeah,
everyone played that in the office. Yeah, the entire Riot office was playing the game.
They actually had a computer in the office.
They actually, because of that, modded. When GameCube mods came out, they modded a version of Smash Brothers to be League of Legends stuff.
Yeah.
Because of it internally, they showed a picture of it and they had to squash it because problematic.
Yeah, it was a fun project.
Yeah, it was a fun project that some of the people did it. So it was out there.
So David and I worked on that project before, and actually
one of my favorite things is that even in modern fighting games like now, we're seeing a lot of things that we innovated there flow into it. Whether or not it was direct impact or not, but like it's just
it's pretty cool.
We were so ahead of the time in
really
figuring it out that it was like I think that's one of my prouder moments is like, hey, I'm a hipster, I called that.
Yeah, and you know what? History will forget that we did this. That's okay. We feel justified. We think we did a good job, and we think we set out our goal was to create a fighting game that I think innovated and really made its own niche, and was good and deep and simple and fun.
Fun to watch, fun to play. Like you don't have to be in block stun for 30 seconds. You don't have to guess 50-50s all the time.
Combos are really creative.
Yeah, you have a lot of free form. Like, you have a lot of choice. Both on defense and offense.
So,
a lot of
Anyways, this is actually directly related to how we started PG. So at one point we were going around different conventions and things to show off the game, and I had moved to Arizona for a residency, and when I did, I had got back into the Smash scene. Because I was a new place, I wanted to make friends that weren't doctors, and I wanted to... And Smash 4 just came out at the same time, so I was like, hey, I would love to play competitive Smash again. I really missed it, competitive gaming in general, and Smash is what I knew. I still had connections in the scene, so I wanted to do Smash 4, because coincidence was too big. And I was like, I'm not going to get involved with like the back-end stuff this time, because I'd always had a bad habit of putting my fingers where they don't belong. And... I did it again. I started playing. I got top 10 in Arizona. I was ranked number 10 in the PR, and I was making a bigger impact in the scene, helping them run tournaments, helping them organize themselves. And then they ran a major and asked me to TO Smash 4. So I did that, and I called David. And I said, "Hey, this is gonna be this big tournament. Why don't you come over and show League of Fighters?"
So the other half of that argument was that it was his birthday.
Yeah.
So he invited me over to his birthday and said, while you're over here, why don't you show it?
Yeah.
And I did. And Ken played it. Leffen played it. Leffen loved it a lot. That was the first time I actually met Leffen. He was like, he really liked the game a lot. And you can see that with, he plays DBZ now.
Yeah. Well, he's always been like Guilty Gear, like that. Yeah,
he definitely liked it.
Fan,
he played it for so long because like after tournament, I feel like he lost in the tournament and he just came and played and he didn't stop. He played for like a couple hours and then he left the venue.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that happened, and at that tournament, it was sort of my first exposure to big esports. Big as a regional, and we saw some things go down, and the way some people were treated, were talked to, and over time, because Zero actually had moved to Arizona as well. For a little bit, I became more friends with him, and Music King also moved to Arizona at the time, so I became more friends with him. So I got to understand esports at a deeper level, and I just saw people getting mistreated. treated like cattle, and not just smashers. Like Chris G on his team at the time, he was not happy with how it's being treated. He told us kind of how he's being treated and how he felt, and he was not the only one, and I just, it was awful to see people who I looked up to, who I loved watching, who I respected, being treated like that. So I after the event, very short after, I called David and I said, "Hey, you want to make our own team? I could make a team where I treat people better, not like cattle, like human beings, be a lot more open with them, and I think we could do this." And
well, I did.
Yeah.
I actually looked at it from a business standpoint. I was like, it could work.
Yeah, and about 2 months of planning. We didn't just start it like this. We planned. David put together a big, like 10-page business plan about how to do this multi-pronged approach. We really thought it through. PG had a different form in the very beginning, and we said, let's do it. So originally, and I'm sure it's okay to say this now, originally Panda Global was going to have Zero as our first Smash player. Zero had said at the last event I was with him, I said, "Hey, if I start my own team, would you join?" He said, "If you start within the next 2 weeks." 2 months later, I was like, "Hey, you still want to do this?" And he says, "Oh no, I got this decent offer from Team Coast." And that
Team
time
who?
was exactly.
No, they're actually, the guys who ran it were pretty cool. They're actually part of Dignitas now.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they both got axed actually recently in the latest axing of Dignitas.
Dignitas got rid of.
So basically, 76ers bought Dignitas and
yeah.
also bought Team Coast, or the new Team Coast, because Dignitas got relegated and they needed a league spot, and then they got super relegated. So
yeah. Things happened with Dignitas and
bodied.
That obviously never went through. But at the time I was like, that's just, I could not understand how to salary a player for the numbers they were talking about, and we were very new to esports at the time. I still think it was a bit of a high amount at the time, though.
Oh no, he definitely.
That's why it never went through.
Yeah, it never went through because it wasn't a real offer.
Yeah. To Team Coast. Well, anyways. So when he said no, I thought, well, I housed MVD at the time, and me and David, got to know MVD during the time, and he was a great player, great person. We enjoyed him a lot, and we had some congealed coke, which we bonded over.
I had congealed coke. Y'all laughed.
Yes, that is true. We did laugh at you.
That was a terrible mistake.
It was good.
Don't ever go to Sonic's and order a strawberry Coke, because they will put strawberry puree in that Coke. No,
that's an awful idea. It's funny. And he was very good. He was invited to the tournament too at the time, and we said, all right, let's invite MVD, and we invited him. And I asked MVD, who else should I get? And he's like, oh, you should get ESAM. I asked Zero, who should I get? Zero's like, ESAM. Okay.
I asked ESAM who we should get. He said ESAM. So
and there you go.
There you go.
So it was ESAM. And then we talked to Chris G as well, because we wanted to do FGC and Smash, not just Smash. And Chris G, at the time, he really couldn't leave his current team. So we looked around more, and one of the three gods of Marvel at the time, which was Justin Wong, Chris G, and Filipino Champ. Filipino Champ wasn't with the team, and I'd always admired his Dormammu dog. He in his Phoenix was amazing, and that heel, like he's charismatic.
Yeah.
And always has been. So we showed up, we presented to him. Kind of what we wanted to do with Panda Global, and at the time we had not launched, so he said that was one of the most professional pitches he had ever received, and that was consistent. Everyone basically told us that was we were very professional from the very beginning, and so he decided to say yes, and luckily we launched with that. Now we did actually offer 2 Melee players. And
did we ever offer Axe?
No, not Axe, not Axe.
So first was West Balls.
Yep, this is West Balls. We offered West Balls.
Dennis.
Mm-hmm. And West Balls almost took it, but I guess the week after he was thinking about it still, because he didn't know us to trust us or not, and he said no because Tempo Storm had offered him shortly after, and he knew Tempo and went with them. And then we offered Zoo. That was the other player we offered. Zoo, again, we hadn't launched. He couldn't trust us, and he had Smash practice going on. So Zoo said only if we had Cactuar 2, and we were like, and then it just became a mess, and eventually we're like, nah, probably shouldn't do that.
So we went to CEO with just ESAM and BD. Both of them got 5th.
But that was actually at the time I moved from Arizona to Florida, and we decided that to do PG right, David would have to move to Florida too from Michigan, and that was right when we were launching PG, and CEO was happening. So CA 2015 was our inaugural tournament as a team, which FChamp didn't go to because he did not like going to CEOs. Oh, my other light went out. That's great.
It's okay.
He didn't like going to CEOs because he showed off too much tech before Evo at the time. And David, you.
I drove down. I ordered some T-shirts, team T-shirts in Ohio because I was gonna pick them up on my way down to Florida, and so I was originally going to drive to California actually the week before, or I was already planning on going to California because I was going to go work for a certain League of Legends based team, or company, if you will, and I decided not to, and took the idea of Panda Global to heart and decided that was going to be the thing. Drove down to Florida instead of California, and on the way picked up these nasty looking T-shirts.
Yeah, which you can still find the pictures on the internet.
Eric's wearing them. He's got his hands like this.
That was a big picture. Yeah,
that was a big picture.
Panda Gaming on it, and the wrong URL.
That was our first foray into terrible clothing providers. That didn't follow direction.
That was fun.
And weren't able to provide what we ordered. But it was last minute, so we got what we got. Came on our way down, met Eric for the first time, or Isan for the first time. They did good. We met Plup. Plup ignored both of us.
So the story of why we wanted Plup. Was
this is messed up. This is such a messed up story.
It's funny. We didn't know who to get in Melee. Melee was very unknown to me because I left Smash during Melee's resurgence, so I really didn't know what to look for.
But we had friends who played Melee. My friend was Ken, the king of Smash.
Because Ken became a friend with him at the tournament that he showed up for League of Fighters, and my friend at the same tournament became Juan Hungrybox. You went up to Ken.
I went to Ken. They were actually sitting next to each other, I think.
No.
I was sitting next to Ken
later. But not when we asked.
But no. So what happened was I asked you asked Hungrybox who we should pick up. He said Plup.
Yeah.
I asked Ken. He said Chudat.
Yep.
And then lo and behold, Chudat versus Plup.
Yeah, right after we touch base, we saw on stage, Plup versus Chudat. So jokingly, we're like, all right, whoever wins this set, we're gonna pick up. Plup.
Plup won. We picked him up.
Well, that's not the only reason we picked him up.
No, it's canon though. It's canon.
That is canon. That's why we picked him up. Because we beat Chudat. And what happened was, Plup then went, all the way to the tournament and got really close to beating Leffen, and we saw this and we're like, wow, this kid's really talented. He's really, really good. Wow.
And then he got really close with Mango, but the windmill got him, and so he lost to those two really closely.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that was his second or third tournament with Sheik in general.
I think so. Yeah.
He had just swapped.
He had
just swapped. So
and I remember very distinctly. I think it was when he lost to Leffen. I decided at that moment I was like, this is our guy. Watching him play, I knew it. I felt it. We had to have him, and he was so angry at his loss. And still gets angry to this day.
Not as much.
Not as bad.
Yeah.
He was storming away, and I was like, I want to talk to him. So I kind of put my hand on his shoulder, and he just didn't even look at me. Just sort of like this, jerked his shoulder away and just kept walking. I'm like, hey, just didn't stop, just kept going.
Later on, we found out that was just Plup at that time.
Yeah, I was like...
Everyone just said that.
Yeah, and it was actually Eric, because he would yell Senpai whenever Plup would play, because, you know, they both played Samus, and Plup was slightly better than Eric.
You know the reason why we didn't choose Plup in the very, very beginning, when we were looking at...
knew.
No, it was because his tag was Plup Plu. Remember that?
I do remember that.
And he had a picture. It was like really weird. He just forgot.
Smiling one with the SpongeBob.
He just forgot to finish the rest of his Twitter. Like he just forgot. Like it looked like he made his Twitter and stopped halfway through, and people just followed him because he was Plup. And so I was like, we can't have someone like that who's going to do that for social media be on the team, because social media is so important to the esports side of things. But when we met him, we saw him play. We knew Plup was our guy. Shortly after CEO, we ended up reaching out over the internet because couldn't find him at the event after that. Yeah. And he said yes. He signed with us, and Evo. We got jerseys. Finally.
Finally. Unfortunately, FChamp had the first Evo he had ever had where he didn't make Evo Sunday, and I think this is going to be the end of our story. Is the end of Evo. So on the business side of things, so we thought it was going to be a piece of cake to land sponsors. We thought sponsors were going to come to us in droves, and even after CEO, we were approaching sponsors, and we're like, "Come on, guys, come on, you know, give us money." And that's not how esports works. We learned it the hard way.
We learned the hard way that no one really cared about FGC.
So
then still doesn't.
It still doesn't. But that's a different. That's
no. Well, except for our sponsors, they care now.
Oh, they do,
because they like what we've done, and we've shown them the light.
And fighting games are worth it, and Smash is worth it. We have an amazing scene, and people are seeing that now.
Yeah.
But it was actually a sponsor. They were a betting sponsor at the time.
Vulcan.
Vulcan. A little logo like that. I don't think that exists anymore. They've changed business models several times.
They own Twitch alerts now.
Oh yeah, you're right.
They're in the Twitch streaming extensions business now.
Yeah.
Under a different brand, but
they were actually good people. But so they one of their workers there knew FChamp personally. They were like neighbors or something, and basically gave him an offer to say, we want to sponsor you for Evo, but that was after he had signed with us. And he's like, hey, you know, I kind of want to work with them, and we're like, no, that's not, you know, now it's different, but like come on, like, why just you sponsor the whole team? So, you know, he connected us, and Vulcan basically made it clear they only wanted FChamp. They didn't care about anybody else. But we convinced them, for the same price as just FChamp, to sponsor the whole team. The dynamics of how that worked.
They loved it, actually, because Plup did really well. Yeah. Everyone else on our team did really well. We had a bunch of top hits.
Yeah, they messaged us like after the event, and they were all in the office cheering on Plup. Because EVO 2015, one of the biggest things that happened from PG's perspective, so ESAM ended up getting 8th, I believe.
7th. Shane, SS, if you remember, got 9th. They had a Panda kill to get into top 8.
They did, had a Panda kill. SS was part of our original squad too. SS was in
local to Arizona.
Yep, because that's where I was.
Yeah,
you know,
one of Alan's friends.
An amazing player, and I still think he's amazing to this day. And he was just, I thought he could become someone incredible with more travel, and I maintain that as well. I think he really does have potential to be a top player. Villager just couldn't take him very far, and Ness tapered off, and those are his characters. So, but anyways, honestly, so ESAM got 7th, SS got 9th, MVD, I don't even recall. But this was with customs, so, you know, Jesse was at a big disadvantage at the time because customs were amazing for Pikachu and Villager.
Jesse lost to someone he had never lost before, and then he lost to a Pac-Man. He lost to Abadongo's Pac-Man early, and then lost to someone else. Yeah. I think he got like 33rd.
No, losing Abadongo's Pac-Man was Eric.
No, they both lost to him.
Oh, okay.
They both lost to Abadongo. Okay. And Abadongo had that big show up. You know, he did really well that year.
Like Pac-Man is so amazing. He was that was when he started getting popular. So, but what I think really put us on the map as a very early team, and really made a huge difference for us, was Plup at EVO 2015 beat Levin on EVO Sunday on the main stage, and I'm sure everyone watching this will remember that time. And that moment, I think, in a lot of ways, solidified the momentum that we were able to take and lift Panda Global to the next level. And through, I think, our continued professionalism our different approach to esports, and treating players right, we have been able to make it this far, and we'll go through more stories, I think, in segments as time allows. But the point I think we wanted to get to with this special edition of the podcast was going to E3 as VIPs for Nintendo from our beginnings. That's a big deal. That's like I used to spend so much of my life talking about the new Smash game coming out, and what is Nintendo going to do, and actually being upset that Nintendo wasn't listening to us as a community. We had so much love for something they made, and they didn't care about us, and I was actually angry.
Can confirm. He talked about this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to it a lot.
Yeah, I used to rant all the time about Nintendo not listening to us. And
now they are. They're reaching out.
Yeah.
They're, they've recognized a lot of... What?
10 years later, we're at the point that, things are different.
We didn't let our dreams be dreams.
Yeah, we worked towards it. And now you and me are actually going to be VIP invited to play the new Smash game before other people privately with Nintendo.
Think about that validation, right?
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
It feels like it's sort of now hitting me as I'm saying it, and I went over our stories. Feels you get these moments sometimes, where it feels like everything's been worth it, and we've done okay.
I can't wait for air tripping. That is the one thing I need. That's the one thing I need is to have air tripping.
More tripping in the game. I hope.
Yeah, we need
Fingers
to have.
Crossed.
We have to have trip tech.
Smash 4 was a disappointment.
We need to have trip tech where you could you can only wave dash when you trip, because tripping puts you in a special state where you can then cancel into a different tech or a different move.
Roll cancel it or something.
Yeah.
Slide across the stage.
Yeah, just things like
one
that.
Frame.
Yeah, one frame links.
Yes, perfect.
For trip tech. Mm-hmm. And then use it in the air to wave dash in the air,
yes,
running around.
That'd be awesome.
Real
air wave dashing. Oh,
air wave dashing.
Only from canceling on the air trips, of course.
Yes.
But yeah. So I don't know. You sort of. I know I'm kind of emotional about it, but I don't know.
You can tell he's emotional about it. I am. Not so much. I think to me, it's mostly the fact.
Yeah.
To me, it's mostly how happy people are about it.
Yeah.
And me getting all our guys in, how excited they are about it. Mm-hmm. For me, I stopped playing so they could play.
Yeah.
And so for E3 or for this VIP thing, initially it was offered to me, but I'm like, Alan would like it way more, and these other guys would like it way more. So I gave up my spot to him immediately, because I knew, for me, E3 is a big part of our business in terms of the whole year and how it impacts.
Networking,
yeah, it impacts our future so greatly that I have to go and make things happen. So originally I was gonna skip out on it and say you know what, I gotta go do things, but now I kind of want to play.
Yeah.
I kind of want to play.
Yeah, and. I don't, I've always been a huge fan of gaming in general, so going to E3 for the first time is going to be pretty cool.
You always told me going to E3 was a dream.
Yep.
And so this year you were
when I was young, there was 2 industry events that I would always wish I could go to someday. One was EVO, which I've been to many times now, and one was E3, which finally for the first time I get to go to.
Mine was BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Yep. And our first year getting a Blizzard team, we got into BlizzCon. Yep. So
we've been in BlizzCon every year. We've been a thing, right?
Yep. We've never not made BlizzCon.
Yeah.
And we've never not made finals at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
Yeah, we're pretty successful at that. I just
now we don't do anything but Hearthstone.
We'll see. I mean, last year the championship wasn't at BlizzCon, but we had our World of Warcraft Arena team.
Yeah.
This year, hopefully, I don't know what the actual schedule is, but hopefully they end up being a Road to BlizzCon thing. Mm-hmm. It was really weird last year. They just we're in Amsterdam now. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Play Hearthstone.
Yep. So I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit about our backstories, who we are, and how Panda became a thing, some of the earliest parts of Panda. Trust me, things get a lot more dynamic. Things change a lot as the story goes on. We learn a lot, and I like to argue sometimes that from the very beginning we were a lot more prepared. And whenever someone asks me for advice about starting their own esports team, I tell them that sort of story where, spend a few months making a plan to differentiate yourself, to make it your team unique, valuable, and how to do it right. Don't just make a logo and a name and hire a company to make some makeshift jerseys for you. That's not esports. It's not how you do it.
Well, I mean, it is. It's not how you do it best.
Yeah. It's not going to last forever if you do it that way.
Yeah. Just, esports is hard. I'm going to do that again. That was not as good as I wanted it to be.
I want to do it like in sync.
Yeah.
Esports is hard. God damn it.
Right. Like, are we going to say esports is hard?
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Right, fine. Esports is hard. I have another joke about esports being hard, but it ties into my Nami.
Is it appropriate?
No, not for this.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Children, please cover your ears. Oh no.
Yes, if there are parents in the room, please cover their ears.
We're out of tea now, so
yeah.
I think that's the end of this talk.
Yeah. So I guess I'm Samurai Panda.
I'm the Hokage. A Panda Global.
He's Mashumaro.
I happen to be the general manager too, but I guess some people call me Mash. Some people call me Mashumaro.
Yeah. So I guess I'm CEO then, if we're throwing titles around. And we'll update you guys after E3 and tell you how it went.
I'm gonna try to do it during E3, but probably look for it after E3.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can actually vlog myself.
Like live.
No,
I did that. Whatever.
Live. I have to like instant transmission.
It's
or
just
something.
like psychically, like live, just
yes.
like internet.
I'm gonna psychic link to all of our fans, and they can see through my eyes actually.
Look into my eyes.
And then when I'm playing Snake in the VIP room and I'm not allowed to tell anyone that Snake is in the game, they'll all see it. I'll leak it.
You leak it. You leak that up tilt.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. I don't want Snake. I was a Snake main. I don't want Snake because if he comes back, he's not going to have those tilts anymore.
He's going to be very, very, very different of a character.
Those moves were my favorite thing.
He's going to be the Rob of the game.
Oh God, let's not even go there.
He's going to have a laser. He's going to be like, I'm Cyclops.
We're done here.
We're done here. You're already up. All right. I guess. Later, guys.